there's another fight that's going totally under the radar. I think it's a really, really good fight, though. Jose Ramirez and Richard Commey. Ramirez is a minus 1,000 favorite, and Richard Commey is a plus 580 on FanDuel.
Oh man, that went up. Because the odds that I put are from when I just checked like 2 hours ago.
I checked an hour ago. So
minus 900 plus 500. So it probably got some more movement. I mean, look, this is why we're only going to spend a couple minutes on this. But I mean, this is a big fight because this is the first time we're seeing Jose Ramirez in a year. And I think only the second time we're seeing Richard Commey at 140 pounds.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the odds sort of reflect, I think, the buzz around this or lack thereof comparatively, which it's going to be on ESPN. So it's a little surprising. We had Richard Torres on the show last week. Actually, I was going to say a couple weeks ago. It was very recent. Last week, who was supposed to be on this card. He got injured the day we put the episode out. Go figure. Maybe we're a jinx. I don't know. But ultimately, you have this. And then you have Sinisa Estrada on the co-feature that we mentioned at the top of the show, minus 1,800 favorite if you want to do that. If you want any value on that, though, you better spend like $1 million or some crazy shit. So, but yeah, like Jose Ramirez is going to win this, isn't he? Isn't it just a matter of decision or knockout, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it is. I think you can't count out a guy like Richard Commey, though, because he does have power. What does he still have left in the tank? I think it's actually a really big fight because I think Jose Ramirez needs the win. And I think Richard Commey, if he wins, it kind of revitalizes his career. So it's actually a really big fight for both of these guys. You talk about Richard Commey, he's 34-1, 27 of those wins coming by way of knockout. We all know power is kind of the last thing to go. He drew against Pedraza, if I'm not mistaken. Lost against Loma, but in that Jackson Marinas fight, like we saw him knock him out, and that was a nasty knockout. Before then, got knocked out by Teofimo Lopez in the second round. He is a former champ. He doesn't have explosive power, but he can put you to sleep. And going back to that Jackson Marinas fight, I'm like, man, this guy always has a chance. He likes to come forward. He's aggressive, and we know that Jose Ramirez gets hit a lot. Jose Ramirez coming into this one. Yes, and he's been dropped by Josh Taylor, and twice. Like we'll get into Josh Taylor at one point whenever he does fight. But I think Jose Ramirez, you know what, to give Jose Ramirez a little bit credit, and I know I'm staying longer on this than usual because Jose Ramirez is one of my favorite fighters. I think against Josh Taylor, he didn't look like himself. And you talked about activity. Jose Ramirez hasn't been that active since COVID. He fights once a year since COVID. And in that Josh Taylor fight, it didn't look like the Jose Ramirez that we're used to seeing. So that's why I think this fight is so important. I think his high work rate is going to be huge in this one. He moves around the ring really well. Left hook is absolutely filthy. Body work, he's got to get to the body in this one, and I think he's going to establish the jab early on. I have Jose Ramirez winning by decision on points at minus 180. A little bit of value there. It's better than minus 1,000. That could also, the line could change before the fight as well, but that's how I'm rolling with in this fight. I think Commey loses, but I think he does have some moments there because Jose Ramirez does get hit a lot, but I think Ramirez is able to pull this one out, and I think if he does, then there's more talk about him at 140. He might be able to get another big fight at 140. And I think that's why this fight is so important for him. What about you? How you going with this one?
There was talk about him being Jose Ramirez potentially fighting Regis Prograis until Jose Zepeda ended up getting that fight. And on top of that, I think Jose Ramirez got married, which is why we didn't see him last year. I think he got married last year. So, congrats to him. That's, marriage is no joke. So I understand totally doing that.
Yeah.
Not that I would know. So whatever. I think with Jose Ramirez at minus 900, you're going to have absolutely no value on the money line there. So I'm with you. I'm rolling with him on points. I do think there's a world where, we've seen this happen in boxing before. Somebody comes back, former champion, long layoff. Richard Commey has power, right? It's not as explosive as he once was and probably isn't at 140 as he was at 135. But anything could happen in this sport. And I don't think it's completely irresponsible to say Richard Commey has a legitimate puncher's chance to win this by knockout. That being said, the safe play is Jose Ramirez on points. And I don't know what Sinisa Estrada's points number, but whatever that is, I'm probably rolling with that as well. I don't even know the other woman like that she's fighting, Tina. I don't Rupper or something. I don't even.
Yeah, I can't pronounce the last name.
I'm not.
I'm not going to be disrespectful and try. You know what I mean?
We know some discreet ass boxers very, very well. I do not know who that woman is, and I'm going to pick Seniesa Estrada to win. I'm not sure that
there's not even group round betting up. There's not group round betting up on FanDuel at least.
I don't know if Top Rank or ESPN knows who she is, right? Like, with all due respect. So hey, we'll see. That's an upset of the year contender for me if Seniesa Estrada loses. I don't think
it's gonna happen, but yeah.
2 decision victories there. And then David Benavidez late stoppage. So we're pretty much in lockstep here. Last time we were with Subriel, Matias, and Jeremias Ponce to that degree where we picked the exact knockout round range. That was great. So hopefully that happens again with David Benavidez here.
I think we have a pretty good chance. And going back to that fight, well, I would not be surprised if Caleb Plant was able to get the victory. And
me neither.
I wouldn't be at all. So that's why this is such a big fight. And going back to, should it be on pay-per-view? Because I want you to comment if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, is it a pay-per-view fight? Because I think if it wasn't, it'd be really good for boxing. I think if it wasn't a pay-per-view fight, I think it could be really, really good for boxing. And I think that's the one thing that boxing needs is we need fights like this that shouldn't be on pay-per-view because it's a really big, massive fight. But at the same time, if you're, I guess, not a casual, if you are a casual, you might not feel the same way we feel about it.
You might not want to pay for it. And you'll probably ask around for a link. Let's be fair. Most people who watch this are probably going to be asking around for a link because that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's also going to be going up against March Madness, and it's going to be going up against the NBA and the NHL and people who are
no
casuals.
One's watching the NHL, Brian. Okay, no, the numbers tell you that as well.
It's just
doing
the Canadian.
So poor. They're doing so poor on ESPN and TNT. Okay. I would watch this fight over everything that you just mentioned, though.
Me too.
Right.
But to your point, I do wonder, like, what if this was a PBC on Fox card, right? Just straight up.
That would be dope
not
as
even
well.
A pay-per-view at all. Like, I wish in general boxing would tone down the amount of pay-per-views. I don't feel like the amount of pay-per-views we get are necessary. I do feel like, what happened to, I thought network TV is back and pay-per-view is dead, and we went right back to pay-per-view.
I mean, in hindsight, I did really appreciate Devin Haney and George Kambosos Jr. not being on pay-per-view. That's a fight that wasn't a pay-per-view fight, and we were able to just
probably
watch
easier
it.
To do on ESPN, to be fair, but still.
Yeah, but I think this is one of those fights where it's like, man, I wish it was just one of those fights we were able to see for boxing fans, because I think if you're just a casual or if you're just getting into the sport, like just watching fights here and there, this is a fight that can make you a big fan. Because I think this is one of those fights. We're going to talk about Tank and Ryan. We know how big that fight's going to be. If we end up getting Usyk and Fury, we're going to be talking about that. If we end up getting Spence and Thurman or something like that, I think those are all going to be really good fights. But I think this might be one of the fights of the year.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. And has a great main card as well. Like the card itself, as we mentioned, as we touched on at the top. Joey Spencer, Jesus Ramos, Chris Colbert, Jose Valenzuela. There's more that I'm forgetting, but like it's a great card all around. Cody Crowley, you know what I mean, is fighting on the card. Your Canadian brother, I guess. So,
my brethren, yes. Let's
go,
we'll Cody.
Even though you're from like California, but like, we could address like that another day. But
yes,
we're good here, I think.
I gotta support the Canadians, but the mandatory would love to know how you're going to be betting this weekend. Let us know. Also, if you like the content, if you like the video, make sure to hit that like button on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening wherever you stream this, make sure to subscribe to our show. And if you have a couple of quick minutes, leave a rate and review. All it takes about a minute or so. Thank you so much for rocking with us. Let us know how you're going to be betting this one, and we'll be back soon with another betting preview, because next week we got another big one with Anthony Joshua and Jermaine Franklin as well. So we'll be back. Thanks so much. And remember to leave a comment as well. Let us know how you're going to be betting.